counsellors, we often work with our clients to build their self-compassion. We know how important self-compassion is for general emotional well-being. We know that to practice self-compassion means to treat yourself as you would a good friend. We may have tools and techniques that we use to help a client to build up their level of self-compassion. But how is your own level of self-compassion? You may feel that it's generally pretty good and on track, and that's great. You may, however, have disconnected from it somewhat due to the challenges of recent times. This video is intended to refresh your self-compassion and to help you to make sure you're doing everything you can to be kind and compassionate to yourself. The leading expert, Dr. KRISTIN NEFF, describes self-compassion as being comprised of 3 elements: self-kindness versus self-judgment, common humanity versus isolation, and mindfulness versus over-identification. I will look at each element of self-compassion and explore how these may apply to you and how you can review, refresh, or rebuild your own self-compassion. So, the first element of self-compassion is self-kindness versus self-judgment. As counsellors, we don't judge others. We're trained from the outset on the importance of being non-judgmental, and this is a huge part of our work with our clients. We embody this and incorporate it as a way of being. But what about our judgments of ourselves? What are you judging yourself for right now? Not being motivated enough? Not doing enough work? Not doing things the right way? Not being good enough at the new ways of working online or over the telephone? Not doing enough to attract new clients? Making mistakes? Doing too much work and not spending enough time with family or partners? Self-kindness invites us to break into that negative self-judgment with some much needed kindness. You could reframe those negative statements with some kinder language. Maybe you feel like you're not doing enough at the moment. Could it be that the enforced lockdown is giving you some valuable time for reflection and recharging? Could it be that, given the circumstances, you're doing the very best you can do? How about telling yourself, at this trying time, I'm doing my very best, and that is enough? You could reframe many of your negative thoughts by identifying them and reframing them in your reflective journal. You could use the new reframed thoughts as positive affirmations for self-kindness. So NEFF's second element is common humanity versus isolation. Isolation is a particularly massive issue at the moment. You may not feel as connected to others at the moment. You may feel that what you're going through is your struggle to face all on your own. Common humanity is the awareness that we're all in this together. All of us counsellors are struggling in some way at the moment. It's a challenging time and we're being made to reassess our counselling abilities and to adapt to new ways of working. Part of the human condition is that through our struggles and challenges we grow and develop. Mistakes are valuable lessons and we can welcome them as our teachers and helpers along the way. As the wonderful Brené Brown would say, our vulnerability is what opens us up to new experiences, growth and personal development. We do know this very well and we share this in our work with clients, but it's so easy to forget this when it comes to ourselves. Common humanity is remembering you're not alone in your struggles and difficulties. The more you remind yourself of this, the more connected and the less isolated you'll feel. Connecting and reaching out to other colleagues and peers will really help you to feel that sense of common humanity. Forgive yourself for any personal mistakes or failures. So you lost connection on a Zoom call and you didn't know how to get the client back. It's okay. We've all made similar mistakes. You forgot to send a worksheet over to a client because your child needed you straight after a session. It's fine. You're allowed to make mistakes and learn from them and move on. We're in this together, and when we break out of that isolation and connect with peers, we can help each other develop and grow. The third element is mindfulness versus over-identification. As counsellors, we're pretty aware of mindfulness. Many of us see it and use it in our work with clients. How much are you practicing mindfulness with yourself? With mindfulness, you recognise what you're feeling, you accept it and allow it. It's that state of allowing yourself to just be. There's no judging or criticism, just acceptance of what you're feeling and who you are in the here and now. Where do you feel you are with your mindfulness at the moment? Ask yourself if you really are practicing mindfulness with yourself. When a feeling comes, do you accept it or do you try to change it to something else or resist it? Are you over-identifying with that feeling or are you just accepting it as it is? Mindfulness is a continuous practice, so maybe it's time to refresh it and start to practice it some more. Maybe find new ways of bringing mindfulness practice into your life. Maybe some meditation, mindfulness walks, or mindfulness journaling, whatever fits with you. Self-compassion is so needed right now, and I hope this video has helped you to find ways you can build up your own self-compassion. Self-compassion isn't just for our clients, we need it too. At the moment, we need it more than ever. Please subscribe to my channel for all of my latest content, and please like and comment below and let me know what you think.